Hey guys, it's Matt. Most of this video is going to be talking about the festivities tomorrow. Of course, democracy and the people have spoken. And the 46th puppet will be put in office that will answer to corporate and banking interests. But before we get into the festivities tomorrow, which I'm going to watch tomorrow at noon, I just want to mention a few things. I'm re-recording this video. I'm in a rare mood. Studying from the last video, dark reality, 7 days a week. It does take its toll. 7 days a week, no vacation, games, trying to get out. No, it's not an I. Okay, it's not an I, and I know it's backwards. That's the default on my Mac. It's not an I. People commenting when I'm drawing concentric circles, reality circles. Does your eye look like this? Mine doesn't. If I grab, I need to grab a beer. Victory Brewing, not right down the road, but Downingtown, 8 minutes away from here. And I'm like, you've got to be kidding me. I mean, you see it, and you don't really notice it. Victory Brewing has been a top brewer in this area. Exton, Paoli, King of Prussia area, Downingtown, Pennsylvania, outside Philadelphia. Victory Brewing is as good as any brewer in the country. It's as good as Dogfish Head in Delaware. It's as good as Lagunitas in California. But you just see it so much you don't realize, and you're like, you've got to be kidding me. Golden Monkey, it's like the highest alcohol beer of all time. It's a giant eye. There's a giant eye in the stomach. It's like the movie Society. I'm going to talk about that movie sometime. It's old, it's dated, it's not for everybody. The kid's like, everybody's in on it. The parents are even in some society. The kid is totally unaware, but he's like, things aren't right in the reality in the movie Society. I'll review that and two other movies when I get a chance, including Jacob's Ladder. But I wouldn't. It's not right for most people, so you might want to wait for the review. But it's a Belgian. It's like the highest alcohol beer of all time, which I need for this video. Every time I do that, it reminds me. I don't drink much or eat much on camera, but it reminds me of Glenn Beck. We used to watch the Glenn Beck show. It was actually, when I believed all of that stuff, it was actually really good truth when he was on Fox. I used to watch, gosh, it goes back to probably 2008 or so, or 2007, 8, 9. And he was talking about all the stuff that George Soros is involved in. Of course, it's a major league, high level, graduated animal farm, but it is delivering truth at that level of farm. It's not getting you anywhere near where you need to be to walk the path of a true human being. But that's why it's giving away tons of truth, and you just, when you watch it, I mean, he would do this chalkboard where he'd say, "This is what George Soros is involved in. It's related to Rothschild and all that." I mean, it was absolute truth, but it still was nothing more than, when we talk about the three steps. Step one, it never ever left the screen exercise, and it does kind of drive me crazy when people get on me for examining the screen. I thought you said you weren't going to examine the screen anymore. Well, people are here at all levels. I will always return to the screen, because those people, then we get to level 2. What kind of reality can pull this off? And then to level 3. What does that mean about you? I will always, that is my role here. A 10th grade teacher in high school teaches the same shit. There is a degree of repetitiveness. If you've graduated, it's not, you don't have to be radio, Cuba Gooding Jr. radio, just keep coming back to school for 20 years. If you're ready to graduate out of Matt's channel, although I'm trying to break down the nature of reality itself, I'll do a screen exercise, then I'll do this. And people are really helping me with this, by the way. And it's not an eye. It's not an eye. Okay? Again, my eye doesn't look like that. Games trying to get out. Jeffrey. I'll be doing the complete Jeffrey scene with Bruce Willis from 12 Monkeys once I'm done. This golden monkey with the big eyes staring at me. So guys, so I was going to say Glenn Beck, he's always eating. He was always eating on camera. Like, he'd pull out this big thing of ice cream, and he'd be eating. Like, I could see taking a few bites or whatever, but just to keep eating them, it was really obnoxious. But as long as you graduate off the farm, it's okay. I mean, we didn't know any better at the time. And as long as, they want to keep you there. People to this day are still on the Rush Limbaugh farm. And they still think that the big guy is just talking truth about R versus D. But the festivities tomorrow, guys, for the 46th inauguration of the 46 puppet that will answer to corporate and banking interests, and interests that stand in the shadows of which you'll never see. It's going to be absolutely surreal. It will be. I mean, I don't know what the energy will feel like. Nothing could feel more negative than the New Year's Eve shows that I talked about a few weeks back. The Dick Clark's rockin' New Year's Eve, Ryan Seacrest down on the ground with a mask on, nobody within 50 feet. Then he's up on his tower. There's people coming and going, no mask. Well, why were you doing it down there? It doesn't make any sense. It's just the whole thing. I go to pay my credit card bill. See update. Like, well, at Chase, see up. Why do I need this from my bank? Why? See, it is all so by design, and we can see it, and nobody else can, or the people around us can't. I try to get the weather at AccuWeather.com. I don't know, it's just for one of my old computers, AccuWeather works, and Weather.com doesn't. I can never see the interactive radar or whatever at Weather.com, so I go to AccuWeather.com. And it still works on one of my browsers that's like 10 years old. And there's a whole tab, see updates. Why do I need that from the weather service? So, guys, in terms of dancing around in hobo code and things that can be said and things that can't be said, working with Rob, I won't mention his last name, has a whole platform, a real expert on internet and websites and things that I don't understand. And I hope the YouTube channel's here forever, but absolutely want to start in just a week or two, moving away. And again, I don't want to. YouTube and Google force this on us. Even small truth channels are, they're putting up a 5-minute video and they're saying come over here and see the rest of it. So I'm not gonna do anything like that. Like, do part and then try to. But when you need to replace a multi-billion-dollar infrastructure, there is cost to it. So it's be like $5. I mean, what am I supposed to do? But it's not going to be any more than $5. We're still working that out. But people have given their information at nohobocode.com, and they'll in a week or so or 10 days get an email saying, this is where a lot of the content. I'll still make YouTube videos, but it will be, with the strike that I got and what happened to Mike at Sage of Quay. I mean, obviously, for me to put stock that this channel will be here and you can't even talk, you can't say certain words. Just I mean, I'll do one video a week here by the first or second week in February, and then we'll have a new platform again. I don't, if they would have just left us alone, but they don't, so I have to do this. So I hope you understand, and I hope as many people come over. I mean, it's not my platform. I don't own the platform. The owner of the platform has expenses. I mean, he'll pay me based on a percentage. I don't own it, but I just wanted to mention, guys, that we're real close on that. And those that gave their information to nohobocode.com will get the emails starting in about a week as to when that's gonna go live. And Rob's done a real good job with that. It will eventually. It might not at first be videos, but there will be videos. It will be videos, and as well as podcast format. And that first one, I mean, just to be able to speak freely, I don't even know what I'll say. I don't think my brain won't even be able to comprehend it. Like, I won't even be able to say the words. I'll go 7-Eleven. I won't even be able to do it. It'll take me 2 or 3 or 4 tries at it for me to start talking normally again, because I'm so wired to think if a topic will be a striked topic right before right before it becomes a word that comes out of my mouth. So it'll take a while to rewire my brain. And the festivities tomorrow start at noon. It's going to be surreal, of course, because instead of tens of thousands of people cheering their hero, of course, this administration is going to be completely different. Although the trajectory of government has never changed, no matter what president has ever gotten in. Is there more wars? Yes, there's more wars. Is there more meddling and sticking their sticky fingers into everything local? Yeah, there's always, in every administration, the R or the D, there's always meddling and sticking their sticky fingers into everything. Is there always R versus D meddling and sticking their fingers all over the world, and in Latin American regimes and in the Far East, and trying to get involved in the Balkans and all this, in Georgia? Oh yeah, R versus D. There's no difference there. What about spending? People like Ronald Reagan, of course, and Trump, and other George H.W. Bush. They're conservatives, right? They slash spending. No, no, there's no difference. There's still $1 trillion deficits every year. There's no difference there. What about restoring of personal freedoms? Somebody taking the podium with right after they pull their hand off the Bible, saying, "I'm going to go and look at every single violation that's ever happened to the Bill of Rights under the last 4 administrations, and I'm going to list them, and I'm going to ask Congress to address it and clean it up." Bill of Rights violations, not a mention of it. But the people around us we're just conspiracy theorists, and no, you know, Matt, you don't have a right to speak at my Thanksgiving table, you conspiracy theorist. Wait, stop telling me how the trajectory of government's never changed for 60 years. Well, if you 60 years in your life, it's 160 years. But so this is a shining star in the hill, man. This is democracy in action. We're putting our man in. So what if nothing changes? The end of the table there. Shut up, conspiracy theorist. It's like, wait, what more ammo and what more can we do than to say this is the evidence? This is the indisputable evidence. The trajectory of government doesn't ever change in any area. And then they'll pull something like along the fringe. Well, Trump built 5.5 miles of fence. Like, what? That was his number one thing. There's no giant wall or fence builder. It was his number one thing. So, guys, I'm going to watch, and maybe it's one of those things like Matt will watch so you don't have to, or Matt will do this or interpret this so you don't have to. And I'm gonna watch the whole thing. I don't know why I feel like I need to do this, but I do. And what about the truthers that are still talking about? Do they still think Trump isn't going to leave? It's that risky business, She won't leave. Vicky and Lana, they won't leave. They think Joel's like the squire in Game of Thrones. His ability to please women on his first time, that the prostitutes for the squire in the Game of Thrones for Lady Brienne or whatever, the prostitutes didn't even demand payment. The little kid was so good. He wasn't a little kid, but he was a young man. He was so skilled in the Kama Sutra arts that the prostitutes wouldn't take his money in Game of Thrones. They didn't. Well, I say, well, is Game of Thrones going to reveal what he did? No. But what would that do me? I don't. I don't leave the house. But so what do you? I mean, the truth are still talking about Trump's not going to leave. What's he going to do? Is he going to hold up? In the scene in Scarface, the "say hello to my little friend," that is very similar to the look of that, the feel of that room. Scarface's office is very similar to the Oval Office. Maybe Joe Biden will hold up in there, go into some closet, pull out some giant machine gun with did it have a grenade launcher? I think it did. Say hello to my little friend. He'll just dig in. He'll dig into the Oval Office, refuse to leave. Maybe he'll be watching people coming to get him. Once Joe Biden is sworn in, then the Secret Service will be really under because everything's real, everything's legitimate. The Secret Service will be under his control. He'll be making all the decisions, not bankers and corporate interests. Who would think that? Some conspiracy theorist. But then he could then sick the Secret Service onto Trump, who won't leave the White House, the Oval Office, held up in the room where apparently, Bill Clinton used his cigars on Monica. They say hello to my little friend. He'll just watch the security monitors. If something like that happens, good. I hope it does. That would provide a little bit of needed entertainment for the dark, negative feel of what's going to happen tomorrow. And I'm sorry about them, guys. It's just, I didn't know what kind of mood I would be in when I started doing this video. If you don't, again, you study dark. It's not an eye. Study dark reality. 7 days a week. You can kind of wear on you when you haven't, left the house in 10 years. People like looking at the computer. This is actually the moment where he's gonna lose it. He's gonna lose it. It's not live. It's not a live stream. We can be chatting about how Matt's about to lose it. No, my faculties are pretty good considering. I should have lost it a long time ago, but I'm still pretty good. Still pretty good. And I guess the crazier I get allows me to do things like this. Games, trying to get out. Um, but no, I'm still all right. I'm not going to lose it. But my mood is like, it's just I'm sorry I have to drink during this video. I mean, it's really inappropriate, and there's, some parents have said they have their kids watch some videos, and I'm sorry. I'm a human being. I don't, I have a few beers here and there. It's okay. I'm over 21. But um so I'll watch tomorrow and report back. And part of the script will be, you wouldn't these the real. I think that they're going to ramp up the degree of measures will ramp up um, until we get to a critical point in the spring. Where the weather starts to break in May, for example. That you would never believe that Trump would be. He's already saying, everywhere I can control, it's going to be 100% mask mandate, and they'll try to implement whatever they can regarding like Montreal style tactics. Not go as far as Montreal. I mean, they're always trying to be almost as socialist as Paris, France. But they'll Montreal, if you go out, or I don't know if it's still in place as of a week or two ago, if you go out after 8 o'clock, it's a $3,000 fine. Curfew, 8 o'clock. It's simply, it is Evie's world, Natalie Portman's world from Vendetta. The thugs cruising around looking for young women like Natalie Portman in the movie V for Vendetta after curfew in Montreal. I mean, my goodness. But so I don't, I think people here, although they've abandoned the Constitution, if you go too far, even the most zombified will be like, you can't fine a U.S. citizen for leaving their house after 8. Even the most zombified will like start to come around a little bit. But the role of Biden will be, if Trump did these things, again, he's not his own man. They're all, any president, I don't know how long it's been like this. We can talk about that some other time. But any president's following the marching orders and the instructions of the exact same people. Does it the R versus the D presentation is just so people believe they have a vote, believe it's all real. But Trump, the character of Donald Trump, still has to stay within the confines of what you would expect him to do. He's not going to like force masks, but Biden will. One of the roles of the Biden puppet will be they'll take the compliance rules, regulations regarding this thing to the absolute maximum. And the Whopper computer will be analyzing, reanalyzing. The Whopper computer will spit out little ticker tape. I think we can get away with a little more. All right, turn the dial up to 10. We think we can get away with a little more. The Whopper computer will analyze, reanalyze tweets, emails, Facebook posts, comments, likes, YouTube comments. It analyzes every little bit of it. And per Steffer's recent article in Peace of Mindful, I still have to talk about the digital twin, a concept I've talked about on and off for about a year and a half, where there is a world simulation running in a computer somewhere that knows what you will do, or at least people like you, predicts collectively and knows what you will do, meaning people like you or your group will do before you do. And probably your own name, your own straw man, your own social security exists in the world simulation. It's not like somebody based a profile based on you. It's you. And then they want to probably eventually beam you into the simulation. Elon Musk wants to actually put you in there someday. So Steffer's talking about digital twin. Yeah. Yeah, I mean that's all very real. And they will analyze, and they will test and retest the Whopper computer working on behalf of Joe Biden, President-elect Joe Biden, 46th puppet of the United States, will test and retest 100 million times a second, knows what the people are going to do in each group before they do, and they will push this thing to the absolute maximum. And the only hope we have at this point is, I don't want to say anything negative, like I feel people are totally gone and zombie. I mean, I'm not going to go there, but okay, the action, Jackson is here, whatever that means. But whether you talk about action Jacksonation or not, I've talked about this with my friend with the name starting with a P, NJ. Um, if people don't kind of come around as the weather breaks this year and be like, I just not going to do this anymore. Like, not everybody's going to do that. Most people will comply, but enough people to cause a real issue. The compliance here in the blue states is just it's like 99 whatever percent. I mean, it's just the compliance level is perfect from here, Philadelphia, DC, Baltimore, up through Boston. It's just New Hampshire. It's just incredible. I don't know what the rest of the country is like. I'm sure here is like California, but even I'm saying even the people here, like my friend Tony, he has 3 kids. Just be like, I can't, once the weather breaks and it becomes 75, 80 degrees in the cold north, just be like, I can't do this anymore. And you don't need everybody to do it. You just need a good percentage of 15 to 20% be like, I'm not going to do this anymore. And things start to break down a little bit in terms of their strict compliance. But then, the Whopper computer will be analyzing that, and they'll be like, oh, that's now we have herd immunity, and the V, a lot of people have it, so now we can loosen. See, right when the people are ready to break, then it won't be the people giving it or doing it for themselves. Then they'll say, oh, we're going to loosen restrictions, we're going to give it to you. And people like yum 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 yum. It will actually be maybe the people demanding it. This is Czar coming across. People demanding it, but that the government will know it's about to break, and the government will give it to us, and won't we be so thrilled that the government gave us some rights? What do you think about that, Czar? You don't care either way. You just poop in a box. Pooping it is all you do is poop in a box. That's not good enough, Czar. We gotta get something. You do something else. Try to just drink my beer. No, you should lick the top of it. No. Okay. So guys, I will watch tomorrow and report back. And I don't know what else to say. It's just, it is, if you're struggling with this mentally, like depression, or it's completely normal. What's happening is beyond description. It's beyond anything we possibly could have imagined. Our biggest, I don't want to say fear, but our biggest issue or concern, or what does cause anxiety to us in this community, is not what they're doing, because we typically understand, the nature of this beast. But the biggest issue, and what's really disturbing to us, has been how people around us not only have not been able to see it, but have been completely accepting of it, almost welcoming it, where the underlying basis of what it should be to be an American, things like the Constitution, you just throw it out on a whim. I mean, that's been the toughest part for all of us. But so if you're struggling, guys, it's normal. And ultimately, I'm not just saying this to make anybody feel better or make myself feel better. Ultimately, it's good news for us. It really is. I really believe. I remember my mindset, say on the Trump inauguration, what I believed the world to be, the truth that I could see, and 4 years I've come so far. So have you. And I don't think that would have happened if they wouldn't have turned up the dial the way they did. It's the yin yang. They turn up the dial, we benefit. And so I wouldn't choose to go back. Absolutely not. I would not choose to go back, because there's a whole lot more at stake here than this little train stop joke existence. And I would not choose to go back to what life used to be. Also, I would have to remove what I understand about who I am. And I hope you wouldn't want to go back either. Thanks for watching, guys.